Hey everybody, it's me, Hugh, and welcome to Liquid Lunch, coming at you Tuesday, March 26th. We're starting a little early today, so Sandra's not here yet, but we are just champing at the bit. Not chomping on the bit, we're champing at the bit for our first interview, but before we get to that, I'll just tell you who's coming on the show. Royal Yute will be here. He was on the show last week with Johnny Smash, and boy, he played that song, Love We Need, and I just love that song, and we're going to talk to Royal Yute some more about his music, and looking forward to that. Also, Morgan Toombs coming in from the Sexy Sisterhood. I don't know what that's all about, but it sounds sexy. And Jason Edwards, artist, musician, maybe a sculptor, coming in. Also, the Power Expo is coming up here in Toronto, and we've got Chantal McCallum and Susan Brady coming in to talk all about that. But we're going to start the show right now with Dr. John Stewart. And Dr. John Stewart, this is incredible. There's so much great stuff we can talk about. I don't know where we should start. We can start with free energy. We can talk about miraculous healing technologies. You brought some colloidal gold down for me today, which I'm very thankful for. Thank you so much for doing that. Where can we start? What's topical and current that we can sink our teeth into?
Well, I thought your listeners might like to be aware of what's happening right now in the cosmos, because this is a cosmic program.
Yes.
And we want to know who we are in this cosmos. Currently, right now, in the last week, there are two very important pieces of information of cosmic significance. One is the Higgs boson, which was discovered about a year ago, but only this last week was it verified as being the famous Higgs boson, also called the God particle. So I want to talk about that and its relevance to cosmic science, to physics, and to metaphysics.
Okay, so let's get in, because let me just say, when the Higgs boson was first announced, I thought, oh great, they've spent umpteen $billion to find there's yet another smaller particle, right? And I just thought, where is this going? Because we know it's some level it's just energy anyway. Well,
exactly, and it really didn't seem like a big deal for most of us, because first of all, it's hypothetical, it's just another particle, but it turns out it's far more significant. That's why I want to introduce our topic today on that. And the other topic that's also important is the Planck telescope, which is orbiting right now, picking up the background noise of the original universe. But we'll start with the Higgs boson.
Okay.
And it's been called the God particle. But I want to tell you what a boson is.
Okay.
Because that's an important way to start. If you look up Wikipedia, you'll see that a boson is one of two main particles. Most particles are bosons or fermions. Fermions are electrons, for example. And no two electrons can occupy the same state. They have to be opposite to each other. Okay. And this is the basis of some of the experiments in non-locality, action at a distance. But bosons, many bosons can occupy the same space, the same state. And in fact, that leads to some very important metaphysical consequences, because it means that these particles, and they're not really particles, they are fields. So it's the boson field, the Higgs field, the God field. Those are the various names that it's been called. And this pervades the entire universe. And we now know that this field emanates from a region of the lower dimensions called the cosmic crystalline lattice. Okay. And I'm doing a project right now with Professor Sars from York University. We're working on a project with regard to the cosmic crystalline lattice, meaning that at that very low subatomic level of around 10 to the minus 20 meters, there is a source, this field, and we think this is where the Higgs field emanates. And the particle is really a temporary manifestation of the field that pervades the universe. And we think that it is not only a carrier, but it carries information. And I have a special interest in information more than energy. Information is that which influences the way matter forms. So it's information fields, inform how these fields cause the formation of matter and the world that we know. In fact, one of my great teachers is a doctor from Cambridge, the presence of the past, Sheldrake, Rupert Sheldrake, came up with this term, the morphogenetic fields. That was his theory. Now I think we have enough evidence that these fields are real. They give form and shape to the reality that we experience in everyday life. But more so, it brings us the information that seems to be stored in this crystalline lattice. And I have a special interest in biographies of great savants and scientists and geniuses like Mozart. Mozart was getting his whole concerto downloaded in a fraction of a second from somewhere else, perhaps in these dimensions. He didn't write the concerto. It came to him, and then he was able to write it, dictate it off, or copy it off from his brain. So
I think a lot of artists will say that they don't know where it comes from. It comes through them, right?
True inspiration comes like raindrops from another source. Like we cannot use our little nanobrain minds to come up with new information, because all we have is more of the past. We have to open ourselves and be in that state, sometimes called the theta state of consciousness, whereby we open ourselves to that new information.
Okay.
So we're talking about information fields. So does that deal with the Higgs boson?
Well, okay, I have a question though. When you talk about it being not necessarily a particle, but the particle is really just the manifestation from the probability field?
Probability is a good way of saying it, yeah.
So in other words, that the crystalline lattice is giving the probabilities, and then when we collapse the wave function, then we get the particle.
We get the particle, but the wave, the field is always there, influencing our atoms and our electrons and our DNA, and perhaps, and even our thought, and most importantly, our pineal gland.
Right.
That you and I talked about earlier, and how important and precious our pineal gland and its associated neurological structures in the brain. The brain has many sub-brains within it, all of them acting as modules. So the pineal module, or the third eye, seems to download a lot of that information. So we have that receiving apparatus that is our most precious possession. Out of that comes our inspiration and ideas and our love and affection.
But they've been trying to dumb us down with fluoride in the water, which has been demonstrated to calcify and take the pineal gland offline. Yeah,
just in the last few weeks I checked this out. I was always very skeptical about these conspiracy theories about fluoride, but in fact, about 10 years ago, I think it was a US Research Council published a paper showing that sodium fluoride is extremely toxic to many of our body organs, particularly the pineal. And they're recommending, 4 parts per million as being the upper limit of tolerability. That's a toxic level of sodium fluoride and the other fluorides. So it does damage the pineal, and we should be drinking water that doesn't have fluoride. And one of my projects is I make and sell colloidal generators for making colloidal mineral waters of silver, gold, magnesium, zinc, iron, etc. It turns out that silver inactivates the chloride and the fluoride in water and forms silver chloride, silver fluoride, which are insoluble and can be removed. So when we take colloidal silver, for example, there are many, many benefits, but one of them is the removal of fluoride from our bodies. Okay, great. So if you take like a tablespoon of or a couple of the colloidal silver water a day, you don't have to worry about drinking fluoridated water? Is that... I would not say so. No, we should be stopping things at the source. Yeah. Not at the end. Sure, but until that time, will that be an effective... The damage may be done before the silver can get to it. All right. I wouldn't rely on that. I think we have to take all possible steps to protect our most precious organs. Okay. Boy, we could talk all day, Dr. John, because this is just the beginning of so much great stuff. So just getting back to the Higgs boson for a minute. So what are the implications for us on a day-to-day
living level of this recent announcement confirming the Higgs boson?
Well, it's just the beginning, but it's telling us what this Higgs field really is about, and more and more scientists are now becoming interested in zero-point energy fields that exist in the sub-quantum dimensions. Quantum physics has taken us from classical realities that we now know is an illusion, for the most part, has taken us to the quantum level, which is around 1 nanometer, 0.1 nanometer, where quantum effects begin to manifest, like tunneling, non-locality, etc. But now we've got to start looking even deeper to higher and higher frequencies, to smaller and smaller dimensions in this cosmic crystalline lattice, which is, the node points are 10 to the minus 20 meters of separation, and there is a crystalline lattice that apparently has a great solidity and vibrates like a crystal. Now, this is not the bottom of reality. The bottom of reality, the ground level, or the floor, is 10 to the minus 35 meters, which is the Planck level. And there's apparently nothing beyond that. But we are in this intermediate level between the Planck level and the quantum level. And this is where we think all these morphic fields reside and emanate.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about the Planck telescope and what that is revealing, and maybe we can tie that in to what the Higgs boson is
strangely enough,
revealing.
We can. I think it's a great coincidence. Let me get my Planck information here. Oh. If you look at the Planck pictures, which I brought, but I can't find.
And by the way, the Planck telescope, where is that? Is that orbiting Earth?
It's orbiting Earth. It's a unique telescope that is cryogenically cooled to almost absolute zero. The reason being that it has to be picking up very, very, very small changes around 0 and 1 and 2 degrees that are still residing out in the universe, still remnants of the Big Bang. And what they found, and I have the picture somewhere, but I don't seem to be able to find it. Well, you'll see if the universe were totally random, there would be uniformity, which is not the case. There is granularity, there is preferred areas, like hills and valleys, in the heat signature of the universe, showing that there's clumping. Just like we have, why do we have galaxies and black holes? Because there's clumping. The morphic fields are instructing and influencing matter to create this order, and order within order within order. So there's not total entropy. Entropy would be total randomness. There's not total order, but there's something in between called chaos.
Chaos.
So yeah, so chaos. I have a great interest in chaos theory.
I read that book.
Yeah. However, a lot of these, I have a whole pile of book references. However, there's one book that came out just last year that I'd recommend that you read. If you're going to read one book or start off, it's this book by David Wilcox. And this synopsizes is an encyclopedic book. It's only $35, so it's for 500 pages. This is a great introduction to a lot of these things, the nature of time, how time is variable, relativity, all of the great ideas that I've been talking about, including morphic fields. So this book, The Source Field by Wilcox, I highly recommend it.
Okay, yeah. So I want to get a copy right now. Okay, but now I've been reading stuff that some people are saying now that the universe is really, with their observations of deep space and with their investigations at the subatomic level, that some people are saying now that the universe is actually a hologram.
Well, that's interesting. You should bring that up. In fact, Wilcox mentioned this. I was just rereading this last night. The Holographic Universe by Talbot is a book, a famous book, that introduced us to this idea, this metaphor, that a little part of the universe, namely us, or our DNA, carries all of the information of the entire universe in all of time, past, present, future, all possibilities. And, you know, bizarre as that is, this whole area is so bizarre that we have to have an open mind to all of these possibilities. And more experiments are being done to verify and validate these bizarre theories.
Now, what does that mean for us on a day-to-day level? I mean, we're here, we just had the 2012 point, which some people are saying, even though the world didn't end, but it was some people calling it a point of inflection in terms of where we're going as a species. And some people are saying that there's cosmic events happening that are causing our DNA to change and that sort of thing. Some people are saying that maybe evolution doesn't happen slowly like Darwin explained, but that we have moments where we have rapid evolution, and that some people are saying that we're headed to a point where we are. Some people are saying now that human DNA is moving to, I don't know, 24 strands or more than the whatever 2 strands that we have now.
I think we've moved into a new era, and Wilcox agrees with me, but to bring up this point, I'd like to remind you of another book, The Intention Experiment by Lynn McTaggart, and she gives us information about many experiments about the nature of time, but how the power of intention, how our intentional consciousness interacts with matter. And Bell's theorem. Look it up on Wikipedia. Bell's theorem. How the experimenter interacting with the experiment changes the nature of reality. So we have a part to play with our intention, whether good or bad. And I had a long discussion last week about evil. Is there evil in the universe, for example? And my friends were saying, oh no, evil is just the absence of light. But I think evil is defined by the intention. And our intention has great power for creativity or for destructiveness.
Okay. I've got a real metaphysical question. Can I ask you a real metaphysical question?
I'd be delighted, yeah.
Well, although I asked somebody last week, and they gave me a passage from Matthew to reference.
Yeah, okay. Nothing against Matthew.
But like, I kind of believe in the intention thing. When you, I think people use that all the time in their lives, their intentions. But did you? I take it you read this book, The Intention Experiment.
Not only did I read the book, but I was first introduced to this book and her earlier book by a workshop I did here, right in Toronto, with Lynn McTaggart when she came up to one of the conferences. So I was very impressed by her eloquence and the background work that she had done, although she's not personally a scientist. So I'd strongly recommend that, and how our intention affects reality, the outcome of reality. But she also mentioned something very, very bizarre. It's called retroactive causality. We do an experiment now with intention, and we can change the past.
Can you give me an example?
So bizarre. Well, she describes experiments that were done where the subjects created an intentional focus and changed an experiment that was done 10 years previously, so that the results changed. The past was changed, retroactive causality. So I strongly suggest the audience look up retroactive causality on Wikipedia, or better still, get Lynn McTaggart's book, The Intention Experiment.
Now, what would happen? So would it even go so far as, say that experiment was written up in textbooks, right, that people had read describing the outcome of the experiment, and did those textbooks then change too?
Well, the problem is that when you observe something, you lock in. They collapse the wave, so you lock it in. So there are you have to be the right circumstances to be able to retroactively change the past. So, and once you had the observer effect, you lock it in, and it doesn't seem to work anymore.
Yeah. So this is really
the important thing. You mustn't know. If you know, then you've collapsed the wave.
Yeah. So the universe really is.
Leave it up to the universe. and don't, you know, it's like work with the universe rather than against it.
Okay. So what can we take? Can you sum up these topical and current things and what the Planck telescope is observing? Can you know, sum up something that people could take away from this interview in terms of? Hey, Sandra just got here.
Hi, Sandra.
I don't know if she's on camera good or not. Oh, where is she?
It's okay, I'll just stick with you.
Over here.
I'll stick with you.
Anyway, there you are.
Yeah.
And this is Dr. John Stewart.
Hi, John.
Sandra, nice to see you
Yes,
again.
of course I met John.
Okay.
John's an inspiration.
I know. And
Okay.
we're just
We need to get me on. Here we go.
Well, we'll get you going. So we're just we're just trying to take away something that people can use in their lives, John.
Yeah.
With this new knowledge, this new insight, what can people? Because I mean, just that retroactive causality really means that we influence our experience of the world. Just like I just caused that jackhammer to start.
That's right. Yeah, it could be. However, I have to say that because of my background in medical sciences, as well as electronics and physics and quantum physics, I have a strong interest in healing. So one of my great inspirers was Dr. Gerber and his Bible of Vibrational Medicine, which was the textbook for my course that I taught at U of T on vibrational medicine, quantum physics, and consciousness. So the application in our daily life is how we take care of ourselves, mentally, physically, and nutritionally. So that for me is very important. That's the first step, is to take care of ourselves and each other, health-wise, mentally, physically, and spiritually.
So John, if I may ask, if there's one thing we can do in our life today or tomorrow, starting tomorrow, if there's one thing we can do to simplify it, what could a person do, in your opinion?
I think the most important thing we can do is to be aware that we are all one, and to tune into, open our heart and soul and mind to the fact that we are all one. We are part of a holographic unity, and part also of this crystalline matrix that pervades all of the universe, that we're not limited to this planet. And I think something else that's perhaps important, I've been reading lately the work of Dolores Cannon. And
Me too.
The research, the information is far beyond mere anecdotal. It's quite clear that we have had many previous existences, including extraterrestrials. So extraterrestrials are our brothers and are part of who we are.
So how can we realize that oneness, other than me being so close to you right now, we almost look like one, but other than that, John, how can we realize that? So, okay, I mean, how can we self-actualize that? To say we're all one is wonderful, and I agree with you. How can we actually feel that?
Well,
is there something we can do?
In our own way, with our own talents and abilities. Like I'm here right now as a missionary. It's my mission to bring the best of what I have to humanity and to beings beyond human, that we all need each other, and that's what I'm here for today. So that's part of my being who I am right now in this moment.
So the fact that you're a wealth of knowledge.
Okay, John. Okay, so I was at an event, my band practice, on Saturday, and I got into a discussion with one of my friends, and you know, they were expressing their, they actually got very agitated and angry, and I had to say, chill out, like, you know, but we were talking about humanity's, like here we are, 7 billion people on the planet, the oceans are polluted, coral reefs are dying, pollution in the atmosphere, nuclear radiation poisoning the planet, and they were expressing the idea that humanity is a cancer on the earth, and we're going to kill ourselves, and we are the problem, and we need to go away. And people who are trying to live their lives and trying to envision a future for themselves, and they look around and they see all these problems and they're aware of it. I mean, what would you tell people who are dealing with this and who are maybe looking at all this and they're saying there's not really much hope or not much of a future?
I would say there's not much hope for people who are stuck in their belief systems. I think education of young people should be knowing all about this stuff. We shouldn't be waiting till our 40s and 50s and 60s to be reading it and learning. It's young people in high school should be given, instead of this is the new religion, this is the new knowledge of the universe of who we are, and they should be growing up. This should be their pablum.
Okay.
And they wouldn't pollute the planet 10, 20 years from now. They would have a social and spiritual consciousness, a spiritual intelligence to take care of ourselves and our home, which is this planet.
Well, you know what I think, if I may add, what I think is in addition to the information that you have and that you share with everybody, is not even, I mean, that's one component of it, is the information, excuse me, but to me, what's really relevant, John, is not just what you deliver, but how you deliver it. It's right. The aspect of compassion, it's the aspect of authenticity, it's the aspect of love, universal love. And that's where I think the message, that's where I think we can actually really bring it home and make it real, is through that component of feeling the love. Would you agree with that?
I agree that it's a multifaceted growth program. We need to take care of ourselves, our physicality, at a 3D and even a 2D level, our biochemistry, otherwise we get sick. We need to take care of our education, our thoughts. You know, the power of thoughts can cause sickness. So children should be taught all of these things, so that by the time they're 30, 40, 50 years of age, they have the ethics and the intelligence to take care of the planet and themselves and each other.
So can we clean up the oceans? Can we clean up all the radioactivity?
Yeah. Well, we also have a great collaborator, namely Gaia. There's the inherent self-healing properties of Gaia, which we're going beyond that. Like, there's a balance here. I think we've created an imbalance, but it can be, the tipping can be put back in the other direction, to quote Al Gore.
Okay, great. So there's so much that we can, that people can find out, so much we talked about today, but you've got a website where people can access some of the work you do, some of the products that you provide for people. Can you just tell people where they can? I
have a very extensive website on many of my products. It's Biofysica.com. So mostly devices for improving our health, mentally and physically. So I've invented devices that grow hair on bald heads, that stimulate the pineal gland, that shrink tumors. So many different, if I see a need, I will find a way to meet that need.
Whoa, that's incredible. We got a picture right now. So those are the colloidal
That's one of my devices.
That's just
the widest range of colloidal generators, from pocket size, the smallest in the world, to the biggest industrial generators for bottling plants.
Yeah. Okay, great. So people can find out more at that website, biofysica.com, right, Dr.
And you
John?
can, and just so that we heard this correctly, you can actually grow hair on the head.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
I have customers in Mexico who are having a franchise all over Mexico with my devices.
Whoa.
Growing hair for Mexicans.
Hugh as a sample? You want to try that?
I would be willing.
Can we do that?
We could bring it on the show sometime.
Why don't we do that?
As long as you sit under it.
Yeah, I don't mind.
Okay, so is that outrageous?
No, it's not outrageous at all.
Well, it has to be outrageous, otherwise we wouldn't be interested. Right?
Exactly. Otherwise it won't go viral.
So, okay, so you know what? We're going to have to plan that.
Okay.
I'm holding you guys
Actually, you know, I love this conversation, John, and I would love to have you back and get into some of this stuff in more detail. So thanks for coming on today.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you for doing everything you're doing and being such an inspiration. Amazing.
I don't know. What? John? Oh, yeah, of course. Okay. So thanks, John. Biofysica.com. We've got a little commercial we're going to play now from John, just to give you some more information. And then we're going to continue because Royal Yute is in the house. And I'm looking forward to hearing those songs as Liquid Lunch continues.
plug that in and we'll show you.
See?
That's the magnetic what?
It's turn it that way, they call it that way, yeah, and then I put it down closer.
Look at that. Wow, eh?
So the field is quite high, actually. It's amazingly high.
Holy smokes, look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Is this reset?
That's on-off. Power on,
Yeah.
And what exactly does that do?
It detects the magnetic
The magnetic
field.
pulse, see?
Okay.
That would be, I'm driving it from here.
Yep.
140 hertz. Now if we take it down 70, 50, 50.
Oh, look,
Yeah,
see, look, see? Look at the hertz, see, look at that.
That's 10 hertz.
10 hertz?
Mm-hmm.
And
Put it closer. You see, at lower frequency, the field is not so
not as strong.
extended.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Now it just went up?
Yeah, so it'll be around here, exactly. Count that, let me count that. Yeah, see? Real high.
Now,
and what are you doing to the machine now?
It's got an internal frequency, just Schumann range. Automatically scans through a range, internal versus, and I added that on at your request.
That's right, yeah. So the external will be going towards where was the
external is anywhere here. It's
that's
like,
right.
That generator that you wanted to.
And it works. Oh, perfect.
I made that cable specially for you.
Thank you very much. Oh, look at that. I know, nice, eh? Mm-hmm. So what I'm gonna do is so the suite. Do you have the list of the frequency sweeps that you use for the internal, right?
Internal.
Okay. So let me see. The internal is. Cause see, if you look at this, see, show you this. See this right here. Let me see this right here. Now, where's the high one here? Where's the high one? Does this frequency go higher? Go a little higher.
Now, is it internal? The switch is it internal or external?
Oh wait, internal, external. See, watch this.
It's on external now.
So I'm gonna push it a little lower, right? I'll show you. Its external is 10, right? That's 10. Internal. See? Internal sweeping. So the internal is based upon frequencies he set already in there, doing a natural sweep, right? But now if I click on the external, it's going to use a frequency from here.
Okay, so when you use your frequency generator, you would use it on the external.
That's a picture of that on the oscilloscope.
Exactly, see?
Now I can, yeah, so that's a picture of it. So if I change the frequency higher, it'll go faster.
Look at that, eh? Yeah.
And that's 50.
50.
50 hertz.
Nice, eh? Is that the right amount? Look at that, eh?
Freddie, famous.
I just love we need more love. Coming like a showers of blessings from above, and we no wanna greed. So put away your gun, no need for the grudge, God bless it, love it is a must. I just love we need more love. Coming like a showers of blessings from above, and we no wanna greed. So put away your guns, no need for the grudge, God bless it, love it is a. I just love and happiness, where the bobo manifest. Teaching you them cleanliness, and if we pray and do them best. Treading in a the valley of the shadow of death, with wicked man I dig them pits and evil man I send check. But never will I fear, and never will I fret. When the bobo you think treading through this generation next. Yo, where them a go doing a this a generation next. When me burn them robots and cyborgs and surrogates, you better change your dirty ways, you better watch your dirty flex. Can't me them are impressed with them corrupted Congress. I just love and righteousness away the biggie you profess. Get to you, just watch your ways and step away from filthiness. I just love we need more love. Coming like a showers of blessings from above, and we no wanna greed. So put away your guns, no need for the grudge, God bless it, love it is a must. I just love we need more love. Coming like a showers of blessings from above, and we no wanna greed. So put away your guns, no need for the grudge, God bless it, love it is a must, yo. Get a youth that's fully faith and go and try it straight. Enough of them in a them pretty suit, them a fake. Mama in a the kitchen, total a bake. Jabez the little and the much, Rasta ever get. I just want this if you want figure choose Iron Gate. Rasta ever tell them that love conquer hate. No care what them a try and them a infiltrate. Get a youth no matter make them string you up. I just love we need, and we need a more love. Coming like a showers of blessings from above, and we no wanna greed. So put away your guns, no need for the gush, God bless it, love it is a must. I just love we need, and we need a more love. Coming like a showers of blessings from above, and we no wanna greed. So put away your guns, no need for the gush, I just blessings from above. I just love we need a more love. Coming like a showers of blessings from above, and we no wanna greed. So put away your guns, no need for the gush, God bless it, love it is a. I just love and happiness away the bobo manifest. Teach you them cleanliness and how we pray and do them best. Treading in a the valley of the shadow of death, when wicked man a dig them pit and evil man a send check. But never will I fear and never will I fret when the bobo man him treading through this generation next. Yo, where them a go doing a this a generation next. When me burn them robots and cyborgs and surrogates, you better change your dirty ways, you better watch your dirty flex. Can't me them a impressed with them corrupted Congress. I just love and righteousness away the bobo manifest. Get to you, just watch your ways and step away from
to the show. Let's be Hugh, Johnny Smash. Oh, we better turn off the TV. Johnny Smash is here, my co-host right now. Just temporary, because Sandra's still here. Johnny Smash.
Shout out to Sandra. 1 2 Otta Otta.
1 2 Otta Otta.
But you didn't learn the next line yet. You know the next line?
I don't know. No, I need to know.
Go on like them hard, but them soft like butter.
Guan, like them hard, but them soft like butter.
Butter, that's right.
You have to go. After that, you have to go.
Yeah.
But it's all about Royal Yute today.
Yes, Royal Yute is here. I'm so excited because Royal Yute, I know you were here last week. I didn't get a chance to hear your music until I did the editing like that. Then I heard that song, Love We Need, and I was just totally blown away.
Yeah, man, reaching out to all those youths in the struggle. And we need to tell them to love. Too much violence nowadays, you. Too much violence. So we need someone to tell them to put on.
And it's kind of a parody of the change we need Obama slogan, right?
Obama, Bush, all that war in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
You know? In Jamaica, the video is versatile. It shows things that's going on in Canada, in America, in Jamaica.
Yeah.
Things in our community too.
And the video was awesome too. Yeah. Like whoever did that video.
Freddie Famous.
Was just really good.
Freddie Famous.
Yeah. So I just, anyway, that song should be a hit all across the country, all across the world.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, man.
Thanks.
Okay, and it's going to be right here at ThatChannel. I love that song.
Well, he's on a world tour right now. Royal Yute is on somebody's world tour, and that somebody's name is Conscience.
Yeah, right now, Thursday I have Conscience, the 28th, London.
Oh, that's like 2 days from now.
Tour,
yeah.
So what's happening there, John?
Well, Conscience right now is basically, in a lot of people's mind, is like the hottest artist for 2013. We actually appeared, me and Roy Yute appeared with Conscience as the Beanie Man show. Yeah, the first time he's here, but he was an opening act. He wasn't a Conscience show, so now it's a Conscience show, and Roy Yute's on it, like you said, because he's doing worldly things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So spread the message, you know.
So, are you just playing the London show, or are you traveling along with them?
Hopefully, I could do the Toronto show also, but there's a lot of shows coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, if this is a good show, they're saying I could be on the rest of the shows.
Right.
On the tour.
Very good.
Right.
Okay.
And there's some other things that he's working on, but it's because they're still tentative right now. But believe me, you will see Royal Yute on another world tour and possibly his own world tour. But it's still tentative right now. But just to let the fans watch out, keep attention to Royal Yute.
I'll tell you. You know, after I saw that, and we're gonna play another because I had that other song about the Sars.
Sicker than Sars.
Sicker than Sars.
Yeah.
I haven't heard it yet, so I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, you'll like it.
Yeah, that one's describing the hemp marijuana.
I noticed a little bit of the visuals.
The leaves. I love it though. I love it. I think that Royal Yute, the key to when I personally listen to Royal Yute, is his connection with the world and showing a responsibility towards his music, because I think a lot of people don't really meditate what they're saying, and he does, because he always has a positive message. And I appreciate that, because the world appreciates that.
Well, I'll tell you, you know, if it's all like as good as Love We Need, then you're right up there with the levels of the greatest you know, reggae performers that ever have been, as far as I'm concerned. Royal Yute.
Yeah, I'll just try to do my best.
Yeah.
and just put positive lyrics together.
So I have a question though, because you're doing that. Where is the concert in London?
It's on LG Club. It's on Richmond Street in London, Ontario.
Okay.
It's a renowned venue, so LG on Richmond Street. I don't have the exact address here, but tickets are available. I think he has like 5 tickets left. So if you need tickets, it's 647-778-6332. Again, 647-778-6332, and contact us for tickets for the London show in his conscience. But you had a question for him, though.
I did. Yeah. Tony Smash, thank you.
You're welcome.
So when you're performing, I'm just curious, do you have like a live backing band, or how does that work?
Right now we have DJs who just play my CD.
Yeah.
I like live performances, but right now at the club, LG is going to be like I have my rhythm or my beats.
Yeah.
And then I'm just on the
And then how? And does Conscience perform the same way?
Yeah, right. At this particular club scene.
Yeah.
Because at other venues you'd have the bands and stuff like that, the live band.
Yeah.
But right now, due to the fact of the small compact setting, it's all about the sound system and computers.
Yeah. Okay. Are you? I'm just curious though. Are you working with a group of?
Right now, I'm working on an album with we call it One Drop in reggae, like a reggae full with bands and stuff like that, you know, with a live band. So I'm currently working on that because I noticed that kind of energy, it goes well with my fans, you know, that positive vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I do the dancehall vibes too, which is more what we're trying to do at the Conscience show. It's more of a dancehall oriented scene.
What does that mean exactly?
Okay, so because there's a difference. Yeah, there's a difference between dancehall reggae and cultural reggae, you know?
Yeah.
Dancehall is more of the dance party scene.
Yeah.
Girls whining, girls dancing and stuff, you know?
Yes, we had a photographer in a couple of weeks ago showing she had a photography show all about the dancehall scene. What was her name? Ravel? The photographer of the dancehall scene. Lisa Bailey, she did a show of all this dancehall stuff, and so and we got a bit of a flavor of that.
Meanwhile, cultural is more giving thanks and praises to the Most High, spreading a good message through the music.
Yeah. So how is that? Like, I mean, when I first started listening to reggae, Bob Marley was still alive,
Peter
and
Tosh,
all that kind of stuff. And there was a very positive vibe coming out of Jamaica. Where is that today? Because it seems to me there's just not that kind of level of positive vibe.
Well, there is, but it's a bit watered down, or it's a bit concealed. Because reggae right now, you have countries like France, Hawaii saying they're the capital of reggae music right now, due to the fact that Jamaica is not really producing that much good reggae music. People going on that one drop beats, like that Bob Marley beat and stuff. You know, it's more dancehall oriented. You know, so. Right now, a lot of artists, young artists like myself, is trying to come back with that Bob Marley flavor, that Peter Tosh flavor, to bring it back out there to the youth, because that's what it was all about, you know? So.
All right, so you're working on, sorry, Johnny Smash,
go ahead. No, you were saying,
well, I was going to say, because you just
so I'm working on that album with Roger B, and then I just hooked up with the next producer, Demolition Man. He's doing, Ras Demolition, doing very good too. Big up Fire Lion, because he gave me the introduction. So yeah, for this year 2013, looking to do very positive things with the music.
When is that album expected to be released?
I have an album currently working. It's entitled Royal Youth Presents Illage, which is my government name.
All right.
So
government name. I like that.
Yeah,
my
that's
name
what they use in the streets.
So yeah, that's about to come out summertime.
Yeah.
This summer, June time.
All right.
So, Love We Need is on the single. Is a single on the album.
Okay.
Yeah, the one that you like.
That Love You Need.
Love We Need is the first single, and then Be Careful. That's the next song that I'm working with Roger B. Currently did the video. We did a nice video shoot with Miss Jamaica Petite a couple days ago with Freddie Fame again.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was a love. That's going to be my next video coming out within the next couple of weeks. So when might that work?
It's not out yet on
Not
YouTube,
out yet.
right?
Not
Okay,
out
well,
yet.
I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah.
So, Johnny Smash, what else do we need to talk about?
Well, the name Royal, first of all, I'd like to commend you because you emphasize this word positive, right? So I really like to commend you on your vision to know that you do have a social responsibility towards society through your music.
Well,
now, the name Royal Yute. Where did you get this name Royal? Because what's the Royal about? I see it, but I know the Canadian fans want to know. Where did you get this name Royal?
Back in the day, I used to use the term royal a lot, you know? I'd be like, all right, we eat some food. I'd be like, oh, that's royal, the food is royal. I see that girl, she look nice. I'm like, okay, she's royal, a royal girl. And I say it was always a part of my context, always a part of my vocabulary, until I was incarcerated, and yeah, I was with some friends, and then I said, yo, they heard me DJ, they heard me sing actually. You know, because sometimes we're in these dark, desolate places and only music build our vibes and uplift us, you know. And then the streets is like, you are Royal Youth. And then from that, it just stuck, you know.
Incarcerated? Where were you incarcerated?
I was incarcerated in the Don jail at the time.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The desolate Don.
Yeah. So
where the last execution in Canada was committed. Ooh.
Yeah. So right now, I'm trying to be that living example that, you know what? We can come from these places and do something positive with our lives. And so, yeah, I'm representing for those guys who are on the next side of the law, trying to do something positive right now for themselves.
Awesome.
Well, I know currently that your song Love We Need is actually in rotation right now on Caribbean Vibrations. And this is what I'm so impressed about you, is the way your mannerism. But I'm cheating a little bit because, as you know, me and Royal Youth have a working relationship. But I know that you were raised by your mom, correct?
Yeah,
and
my grandma. And
I see the respect that you give towards women and the respect to others in the world. And you told me that before, that your mom said, whatever you do in life, son, you have to have manners. Right?
Manners and respect.
Right. So with this coming into play, I reflect back on my own life, and I see other youths in Toronto. A lot of us come from single parents family. A lot of us happen to stray into the wrong crowd or drop out of high school or anything. What do you think you could do to change this, or what's your opinion on what's happening out there in society to the families and the family values?
All right, family values are right now, through my music and my actions, I'm trying, like, I'm like a living example to show the youth them can do something positive. So I try to bring it out more versatile in my lyrics. And to, like, social, you're saying that family values, as I said, are watered down. So I just think mothers and fathers should just focus on their kids more. Whatever little extracurricular them, like music, basketball.
Yeah, because you have that Royal Youth Foundation.
Yeah,
so
extracurricular.
So you're suggesting that we should endorse
their kids more.
Right. Right, and I think that's a positive message, and I think that's why I look at you and say you're so royal, because everything he does is I don't know if you wanted me to use the word godly, but I think it's godly, you know, whether it's your liberty as a Rastafarian or someone else might say religion, but I like it. And another question is, were you born a Rasta, or you gravitated to the liberty, or when did you get carnated as a Rasta?
The word Ras means head, king.
Right.
So I'm gonna tell you that I was born a king still.
Right.
Born a Ras, but I was brought up in the Roman Catholic faith as a kid. The priest couldn't answer a lot of questions that I asked. I was really involved in the church a lot too, youth clubs, presidents, the youth membership and stuff like that. So I always used to see the Rasses and how they were humble and how they dealt with life. And yeah, I just thought that I was studying Bob Marley a lot at the time too. And it was like, he felt like bombing the church. Now he knows the pastor's line, you know? So I'm wondering, what the pastor's line about? So I start asking these questions, start asking questions to myself. I start doing a lot of research, and then I just found that the Most High live within I and I, within me, and all live in flesh.
Right.
And the hearts of all flesh. Even the devil also, or bad energy or whatever it is. So it's just how you bring it out. So I just know that Rastafari, as you would say, the king, the head creator.
Yeah, so now you speak about Bob Marley, and I know, like you said, Bob Marley's been very influential in your life as long as many people around the world. Is there any artist in particular that influence you, or people might say you sound like?
All right.
So there's two questions.
Back to the first question, Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, Capleton, Sizzla Kalonji had a real impact on me finding about learning about Rastafari, you know, through their music, you know. But when it comes to music, I think that Spragga Benz is a very good artist that I looked up to as a youth. So he's very versatile, very lyrical, but a little underrated at the same time. And then that's how I kind of seen myself coming up in the scene in Canada, because it's kind of hard in Canada to get that exposure and stuff like that. But I just think I'm lyrical, and I'm a fiery, I have a fiery package of positiveness to give them.
Right. I must commend you on that. So is there a message for up-and-coming artists that you could give as an artist in the scene?
Yeah, man. I could just put it into little phrases. Always be humble, never will you stumble.
Right.
You know? And put you first and everything will come after. And always believe in yourself, because when no one else believed in Royal Youth Entertainment, I believe in myself, and then other people seen that Johnny Smash came and seen that, you know. And yeah, just bring it out to the world, just be yourself, and have always be thankful too.
Right.
Yeah,
well, you know what, Royal Youth? I'm thankful, I know you, and I'm thankful that we've had a professional relationship and a personal relationship. And I think, again, I must re-emphasize that this is what separates, like I learned in music that your lyrics must be universal and you must have a positive message. And I think before you actually wrote the music, you have such a kingly character about you, and that's why it comes on the music. So congratulations to you on your Conscience tour, and many more things for you that I know will come.
Yes.
Thank you, Riley.
Why you here to take over
the show?
Okay, Johnny Smash. So we're gonna play this video now.
Yes, Sicker Than Sars. You'll be impressed.
Sick as Sars. So what's the story behind the song?
Sicker Than Sars. We use the content sick sometimes when we smoke marijuana. This weed is sick, and we say high, we get high. So I just brought it to the extent that we're so high, we're up to Mars. With the highest extent there
up to
can
Mars,
be.
sicker than Sars.
Yeah, and the weed is so sick. Sicker than Sars.
So you know our little inside joke where I tell you my kids tell me stuff so I can be up to the time?
Yes.
I'm going to tell you something that Roy, you taught me that brought me up to the time.
All right.
So you know, like, you ever been to Hot Box Cafe?
Yeah.
Right, so they are allowed to smoke weed or whatever.
Of course.
So they have a vaporizer. But in Jamaica, they don't call it vaporizer.
What do they call it?
They call it well, there's just chalice, but you said the steamer.
The steamer.
The steamer. So I'm telling you, I'm up to the time, because, you know, I go to Jamaica, I'm like, pass me the steamer. Thank you, Roy Youth. Up to the time. So anyways, let's go to the video. I love this song.
Okay, before we go, though, is there a website? Like,
no,
contact info for Royal Youth?
Okay, you could contact me follow me on Facebook at Twitter at Royal Youth. My Facebook is Royal Youth likewise, and YouTube Royal Youth too.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Johnny Smash.
I'm waiting for the song. I love this song.
Okay, here we go. Sicker Than Sars.
Sicker Than Sars.
And we're going to come back with Morgan Toombs right after this. The Sexy Sisterhood is next.
Freddie, yo, give me a light. Oh, where you get the weed, dada? That weed is sick. That weed are well sicker than SARS. Take 2 jaws, send my brains up on Mars. Meditation, it higher than the stars. Just kick back and off it right couple bars. Cause of the high grade, me smoking well a high grade. You white me promoting, it's a high grade, me smoking. I to the heel of the nation, tell you that I'm not joking. Cause a high grade, me smoking, it's a high grade, we promoting, it's a high grade, me smoking. Our herbs are the heal of the nation, tell you that I'm not joking. High grade, sense in media, we want ya. Boil up the weeds and mix it up with the Medina. Load up the chalice and we burn it in the steamer. I know some police that are smoking, even on some preacher. Cure up your asthma, cataract and all your fever. No ecstasy, crack or herb coke, I don't want that neither. High grade, only Royal Youth team are the leader. Excuse me while I roll up. Like we Lever, as a catcher, we promote up in the media. Cause that we are well sicker than SARS. Take 2 jaws, send my brains up on Mars. Meditation, well higher than the stars. Just kick back and off it right couple bars. Yo, this a we are well better than yours. Take 2 jaws, send my brains up on Mars. Meditation, it higher than the stars. Just kick back and off it read couple psalms. Cause of the high grade, me smoke. smoking this a high grade. Well, like me promoting this a high grade. High grade we smoking. I heard the heal of the nation tell you that I'm not joking, cause a high grade. High grade we smoking this a high grade. High grade we promoting this a high grade. High grade we smoking. I heard the heal of the nation tell you that I'm not joking. If the country gun will start snuff it up, make the fire burn when that will start pump it up. High grade bubble cushion, now we have it up. Fast the red rules, grab a at it up. Emperor Selassie name the bubble shanty calling up. Fire it a blaze when the baby man go spark it up. High grade farmer, just go and plant it up. Smoke it by the bus because we can't have enough. This a weed a well sicker than Sars. Take 2 jaws, send my brains up on Mars. Meditation, it higher than the stars. Just kick back and knock the right couple bars. Cause this a weed a well better than yours. Take 2 jaws, send my brains up on Mars. Meditation, well higher than the stars. Just kick back and knock the read couple psalms. Cause of the high grade we smoking this a high grade. Well like we promoting this a high grade. High grade we smoking. I heard the leader of the nation tell you that I'm not joking, cause a high grade. High grade we smoking this a high grade. High grade we promoting cause a high grade. High grade we smoking. Heard the leader of the nation tell you that I'm not joking, cause the weed are well sicker than Sars. Take 2 jaws, send my brains up on Mars. Meditation, it higher than the stars. Just kick back and knock the right couple bars. Yo, this a weed are well better than yours. Take 2 jaws, send my brains up on Mars. Meditation, well higher than the stars. Just kick back and knock the read couple psalms. Well, the money will I sell a CI that's the far right. I just the earth in all the nation. Emperor Selassie creation, you know? Yeah, you representing.
We on? Count us down. We are on. Okay, welcome back to the show. That was a fabulous song by Royal Yute.
That was an amazing interview. Wow, what an inspiration.
Have you ever been to the Hot Box? Johnny asked me if I'd ever been to the Hot Box.
Can I ask what it is?
It's in the Kensington Market. It's a little cafe.
Oh.
They have great food.
Wow. Why is it called the Hot Box? That's an interesting name.
You'll have to go there and find out yourself.
Okay.
All right. Okay, we're here with Morgan Toombs. Welcome to the show, Morgan.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
So, boy, we have so much to talk about, especially the book, right? Sexy.
It's not that serious.
It's not that serious.
That's a relief.
How can you be sexy at any age and size?
Because I don't know, that picture looks pretty serious to me.
Let me see. Is it? Oh boy. I don't show this to Blue.
Okay. you know, if you take off the top part, the picture could just look like a yoga step or something. That looks like that could be a yoga move.
It does involve that kind of flexibility.
So are we saying yoga is sexy?
Tell us more. Where do we begin?
Oh boy, well let her do it.
Hi, Morgan.
Hi.
So, what is what? Let's talk about the book. What was the motivation for it? It's not that serious. How did you get into this sexy business?
Hugh, are you speechless?
I just asked a question. I'm the only one doing all the talking here.
Okay. Okay.
So the book came about as a result of a bunch of training that I had in nursing, and I realized there was a humongous gap in the way that women feel about their bodies, and like all the research that's out there around the way women feel about beauty, age, perceived desirability, and whatnot, which is academic language, and the catchphrase for that is sexy. So I knew that there was this huge gap between the way women were feeling and the resources that were out there to help women feel good in their own skin, instead of like having this like war and this wrestling match with their own self, like about their body, the way that they look, their wrinkles, their sags, their all those kinds of things that women experience, you know. And so that's where the book came from, was from a desire to provide a resource for women to be able to feel sexy on their own terms and in their own way.
Well, I mean, people have been talking for a long time about how the media and the images that the media portrays, especially about women, makes women who don't fit that ideal, or that at least that explicit ideal shown in the media of being slim, young, beautiful, right?
Wrinkle-free, gray hair-free.
And so, you know, I mean, I don't think there's a woman alive that's going to stay in that sweet spot for their whole life, right? So, so a book like this, from what you're saying, sounds like it's the perfect prescription to a problem that has plagued women and the culture in general for at least a generation or two.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, what I like is we were talking a little bit off air, and what Morgan and I were talking about was how you come across to me as not intimidating. When I think about sex experts, for lack of a better word, I think about, you know, Playgirl. The Playgirl model, and you think about somebody who's, you know, almost fake because they're surgically done. They're almost like a super.
You mean Playboy?
Or okay. Oops. Okay. Okay, that's my first mistake. Okay. Okay, Playboy then. But when I met you, I didn't find you intimidating at all. I found you very normal and very real, and I felt like, you know, I could have a talk with you. I could actually have an honest conversation and not feel intimidated about saying what I really think and my real concerns. And I think that's really, really important. So I think you bring across that sincerity, which I think is can open up a whole nother world, because it's like going to a gym and all those women look awesome and they're wearing these great, beautiful, you know, gym clothes, and it's all about a fashion show, and you feel really intimidated when you go there. You know, you're wearing your sweats or whatever, and it's really about the working out, but is it really about the working out, or is it about looking good, like you've worked out before you actually came to work out? You know, so it's that kind of thing. It's like that genuineness, and I think that's really important.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And I think, is that what's in the book?
It is, yeah. So the message is really about helping women feel good enough as they are in their own skin without feeling the need to shapeshift themselves or employ any sort of method like body alterations, like breast enhancement and whatnot. You know, instead of dieting, like, you know, exercising for the health of it versus for the aesthetic of it. There's a lot of exercises and activities within the book that help give women opportunities to be able to explore what that feels like for them, and to be able to step into a definition of them and sexy that fits them and their age curves, personality, and life, as I like to say.
So one of the things you talk about is that sexy isn't what people think it is. So what is sexy? What is the definition that you use for sexy?
Well, if I may, I'll just go back to what the current definition of sexy is, because we don't actually ever really think about sexy. Like, it's such a norm, it's such a thing that's out there, and it's so, like, it's used on every single medium possible.
And there's such a stereotype about it. Everybody has this image, and it's all the same thing. It's this perfect, almost unattainable person.
For sure, for women, yeah.
Yes, for women.
Yeah. And then also with that, there's all of that aspect of it, but then it also gets completely diluted when we're looking at, oh, that chair is sexy, oh, that condo is sexy, oh, that you know, rug is sexy, and all these different things become sexy, and it's not, you know, then it just gets really blurry, and people don't quite understand what it is.
Okay.
And so what I've done is redefine the concept of sexy to take it to an authentic space. So rather than it being something, it is just you. So it's a disconnected vision from everything that we've been taught that it is, and it is an expression of your authentic self, which is completely sexy.
So that's amazing, because do you ever hear the word authentic and sexy used together?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
You have?
Me and my enlightened male friends, we relate those two words together all the time when we're sitting around discussing things.
Okay, and you're contemplating the meaning of life. Uh-huh.
At the hot box.
Yeah. So can you elaborate a little bit? Is that more like, is it safe to say that it's from the inside out then, or what does that mean, authentic sexy?
It's a complete disconnection from the paradigm of what sexy is supposed to be, and so it's the social construction of sexy. So if we look at beauty and if we look at beauty cross culturally, we see that in Burma they have a different definition of sexy than we do here in Canada, and same within Northern Africa. They have fattening rooms where women go in to become plump before marriage, and so that's considered really sexy, and that's what they do to become desirable.
Really?
Right, which is totally the opposite of what it is here.
A fattening?
Fattening rooms, yeah.
Fattening rooms.
Yeah.
Yes.
That stuns me. Wow. That is like so not North American.
Yeah, totally.
Isn't that amazing how it's different elsewhere? Wow. Okay.
So exploring that and knowing that beauty is a social construction, then the definition of sexy must be a social construction as well. So
Makes
drawing
sense.
that parallel. And so if sexy is a social construction, well, we can just change our script about it. We can just change our minds about it and then create a definition of sexy that fits us. And knowing what the research, I mean, this stuff gives me shivers because it's so powerful. And looking at the research and how women, from ages 5 right up to 95, they're experiencing body image stuff. It doesn't matter about their age and it doesn't matter about their normal weight status, which is whether they're slim or not. They still experience issues about sexy or about their body and about
Well, that's that whole anorexia thing, right? These are women who are already quite slim who don't think they're slim enough, right?
Yeah, there's. I mean, that's a huge extreme of that, but there's definitely body dysmorphic disorder within most women. I would say where they look in the mirror and they don't actually see what's there. They see all their flaws. They see the things that, but like other people don't see, but they notice it and they like.
It's
blow it
magnified.
up. Yeah.
Very true. Very, very true. Wow. So how do you address this, Morgan? What do you do? What can what do you recommend for people to be more accepting of themselves? Because that's what that sounds like to me, to be more accepting and okay with who you are.
Yeah. So I give a lot of different exercises. So there's a bunch of exercises in the book on how to define one's own perception of authentic sexy. So with that particular exercise, it explores the concept of sexy, because most of us have this image of what sexy is, and it's negative, and it's, or it's inaccessible, and it's, I don't want to be sexy because I don't want to be perceived as that girl, or I don't want to not be sexy because I don't want to be not liked, or, there's all these different things around it.
And almost sexy is almost a bad girl image too, isn't it? In some ways.
Yeah, in some ways for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
He's my alter ego today. Just want you to know.
Quite delicious.
So do you hold workshops? Well, what do you do? How do you do?
So I do seminars, like live seminars and workshops and whatnot, that educates about the concept of sex, because most people that come to the workshops, they think, we're going to talk about lingerie, we're going to talk about, toys, we're going to be talking about makeup and whatnot, and then they're like, whoa, like that's not what we're talking about at all. And they're
Wow.
like, the feedback that I get is they sit a little bit taller and they feel better, because they're like, oh my gosh, like sexy is totally possible for me, and I never even thought about it before. Like most women don't even think about sexy as something that's so, not even a part of their everyday. But it's like, from my perspective, from a nursing perspective, it's a life skill. Like we need to be sexy in our own way to be able to attract a mate, to be able to feel good about ourselves.
Really? Where did you get that idea from? Just
sexy
curious.
as a life skill?
Yeah, and from your background as a nurse.
Yeah, I actually got it from one of my mentors. She's a nurse, and she's a nursing professor at Ryerson, where I went to school, and she gave me the idea of that, and I was like totally blown away, floored. I was like, whoa, like what? Yeah, sexy as a life skill, because we're bombarded with ideas about sexy, right? And so, it massively influences the way that we show up in the world, both men and women, young and old, and so when we own it as being a life skill, and we actually are educated around what that means and how to, disconnect from the stuff that's harmful and connect with the things that really boost us. That's where the skill part, where the life skill part comes in.
Well, I guess too, because it spills over. When you feel sexy, you feel confident, which I guess spills over in your work life, obviously in your relationship life, but in your relationship with your friends and your kids and your colleagues and everything, because it's about confidence, right?
Yeah.
So in that sense, I suppose it is a life skill too.
And it's also, in terms of like the relationships with other people, for women in our society, we tend to be quite like catty with each other, or kind of have these competitions with each other, right? And so my argument for that is that it's when we feel that sexy is something that's it's scarce, it's something that's not accessible for everybody, where it's that thing that's like, ooh, out there, then women are like, okay, well, I'm doing my best to get this sexy and be this sexy gal, and then they fight with each other about who's the sexiest, or who's the prettiest, or who's the youngest, or who's the fittest, or who's the whateverest, And so when we change that, then it shifts the competition. And so when women are authentically sexy on their own terms, they're able to celebrate each other versus feeling in competition with each other, which is so powerful on so many different levels.
So, okay, so if I may ask, in your opinion then, in what you're promoting and advocating, what percentage is the physical aspect, so appearance, what percentage, how important is that in terms of a woman's sexiness or a man's sexiness? And it might be different. I guess it'd be higher for women than for men, right?
I actually don't study men at all in the realm of sexy. Just women, and then that trickles out into the relationships with men. But in terms of the physical, I'm so glad that you asked, because I've got a really funny story about this.
Okay.
And I talk about it in the book. It's so when I was in university, I went to an amateur contest, a strip club amateur contest. And if you guys don't know what an amateur contest is, it's when
Hugh does. I don't.
No, I don't. I want to know.
Let me tell you. It's when non-professional strippers do a show in competition with each other in order to win a big prize. So the prize is $1,000 at the end of the evening.
Oh, you can't tell me you haven't done that, Hugh.
I have not done that.
You've never been.
That's because he's the professional stripper. That's why. Okay, so go ahead.
So so there was like about 13 women in this competition, and there's this one woman who's this about 300-pound woman who wanted to do the amateur contest, and we were all sitting there in the audience. We're like, wow, like this is incredible. Like there's all these, you know, typical standard women, and then a woman who was about 300 pounds. And so we were all sitting there in the audience, and we were just like, holy moly, this is incredible. And we were like secretly, of course, well, secretly and in our group, like rooting for her, because how brave of her to step up onto stage and you know, bear all, because really you have to get completely naked in that situation. So end of the night comes, and lo and behold, this woman ended up winning.
Wow.
This 300-pound woman ended up winning over and above, you know, the 12 other competitors.
Wow.
And it really goes to show that it's really not about your body. It's all about your confidence. It's the way you show up in the world and the meow that you bring.
Oh my God, I love that. Can you do that again?
You're good at that.
Yes,
I practice every morning.
You guys must have talked before, I'm telling you. Wow, that's...
And did you, I mean, in your opinion, did she win that contest?
Oh my gosh, yes. Like the bravery that it takes to get up on stage, I can imagine. And just like her owning it and just doing it and not caring. Like I think, to me, that's really what authentic sexy is all about, is the not caring. Like it's just disconnecting from what everybody's telling you should be and how you should be, and just showing up as you.
I mean, I think if you can do that, whether you're a man or a woman, to have that kind of not caring about it thing. I mean, I'm going to tell you a story. I was on the beach one time, and there was this guy there, and he was just sitting there, you know, with his bathing suit on, but he had a great big giant gut, right?
Yeah.
And we were younger, so he wasn't like an old guy. And I'm going, look at that guy. He's just hanging his gut out, and he just doesn't care. You could just tell the guy didn't care.
Yeah.
Right? I just thought I'm glad I don't have a gut like that, but I admire the guy just for that attitude, right? Yeah. And just about the sexy, because there's probably some women out there thinking, you know, maybe the 300-pound women out there that think, you know, there's no way I can be sexy, and wanting to be that person that doesn't care and being that person that doesn't care are two different things.
Totally.
And I don't know how to get from here to there, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking about the women out there right now that are thinking, there's no way I can be 300 pounds and sexy. I'm just going to say something, though, yes, we're going to give all that. Yeah, I know they have to read the book and maybe take your coaching program or whatever. But as a guy, to me, what's more important, even than the looks or any of that, is the sexiness. What I see the sexy coming from the woman is the attitude. It's the personality. Yeah. It's not necessarily the looks or any of that.
Yeah.
That's because you're enlightened, Hugh. Yeah.
I was just going to say that. You're right, Sandra. It is because I'm enlightened. But you, as a woman, don't want to go out with unenlightened guys anyway.
Excuse me? I do. I want to go with enlightened guys. I just can't find them.
Unenlightened.
No, I don't want to go with unenlightened
That's
guys.
what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right. That's absolutely. So, so to his point, though, do you find there's things are changing, Morgan? Are things moving towards where men are starting to appreciate more than just the physical aspect? Are you seeing any kinds of...
That's a great question. Like my research and my focus has really been on women and helping them shift. And I'm going to definitely have to dive into exploring men's perceptions of it. And I know from the men that I've spoken to, but most of the men I interact with are like you enlightened. Yeah.
Wow.
And so it's really not about the physical, and it's really all about her and the yumminess that she brings to the table.
Yumminess.
The yumminess.
Yes, I understand.
Yeah.
The yum and the meow.
Yeah.
Now I know why I love cats so much.
Meow.
It sounds like they're fighting. Sounds like they're in heat, actually.
You know a lot about this stuff, Sandy.
I prefer feline, okay?
Okay.
The word feline.
Okay, now this book, okay, so this book is out, we talked about the problem.
Yeah.
Is there a movement
There's
that's
totally
happening
a
with this?
movement, yeah.
What movement?
So for example, like Dove has a campaign.
Oh, that's right.
Real women, right? And so
you should be on there.
Yeah, I know, Dove.
Yes, contact Morgan. Wow.
Yeah, so there's Dove. There's also celebrities, female celebrities who are choosing to go on magazine covers, who are choosing to be filmed without makeup, without any sort of airbrushing, which is huge, right? Like you've probably seen YouTube videos where women are completely transformed via different Photoshop techniques and whatnot, where it's like an alien versus the human.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And that's what, like, that alien view is what we're basing our perceptions of what beauty and whatnot is. And so these amazing power holders within our society, which are celebrities, to the masses, they're choosing to not be Photoshopped, not wear makeup, and then demonstrating that it's totally 100% okay for a woman to be authentic, to not wear makeup, that she still has power, visibility, social worth, without stepping into that socially constructed vision of what she as a woman is supposed to be in order to be, powerful. And
so you're finding that it is time to do this then?
Oh, big time. Yeah, people are ready. Like, people are so ready, so ready. Like, even on Facebook, you'll see so many different groups about women of like all different shapes and sizes, and really celebrating that. And I don't know if you guys saw the advert in the grid, or like the spread in the grid last week, but it was on curvy women. And so in Toronto specifically, there's been a lack of plus size clothing stores.
Okay.
And so, when all these, there's like 40% of our population of women is plus size, but there's like a handful, like just that many clothing stores for these women.
Wow.
And so, they don't want to be wearing, boxy outfits and whatnot. And so they want something that makes them feel sexy, that makes them feel good in their skin and in the clothes that they wear. And so, so even like demonstrated in the grid last week, like women are just like ready for this. They're hungry for it. They want to feel good. They're ready.
Well, I think Dove has probably really done a good job in changing that too.
Yeah.
Because that's an amazing campaign that they run.
Yeah.
Wow. Do you have a question?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the book is out and you do your programs. Like how specifically are you contributing to the movement?
So I've got a radio show, 50 Shades of Sexy, and so it gives free education about everything related to all the different shades of sexy. And what 50 Shades of Sexy refers to is, of course, it's playing on a particular social trend that we've got going on right now, but it's also another way to say authentic sexy. So you can't get authentic sexy wrong. You can only get authentic sexy right. There's so many different shades of authentic sexy.
Wow, that's amazing.
So that's my contribution to the movement.
And who should listen to the radio show? Who should go to your coaching programs, and who should read the book, in your opinion?
So the feedback that I've gotten is it's really for every woman who's fighting a silent battle with herself about her, weight or her age or her body size or her beauty. So it's really for any women. The women that I specifically work with are cancer survivors who need support after they've gone through surgery, after they've gone through chemo, and they need some help on feeling better in their own skin. I work specifically with mothers of daughters, so helping moms heal their relationship with their body so they don't pass down their belief systems to their daughters.
Interesting.
And regular women, single women who are, not sure how to attract the mate of their life or their partner of their dreams, and so helping them shift their focus from external, all that woo stuff, to themselves and to be able to attract their ideal mate based on their own vision of sexy.
Well, you just covered 3 major areas, and 2 of them I never would have thought of.
Yeah.
That's really amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and where can people get their hands on the book?
They can get it at Amazon.com and also my website, morgantombs.com. And so on my website, you can get a copy that's signed by myself. So.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's groovy.
Yeah.
No,
Okay, you do better. Oh my God! People are fighting for copies of this book in the studio. Holy cow! It's bedlam. I saw some police officers actually as I was coming into the studio today. I didn't realize it was because of this book.
You didn't tell them where it was, did you?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I pretended.
Thank goodness. Okay.
They asked, but I pretended I didn't know.
Morgan. Okay. Now, what about the workshops and the coaching programs that
Are
you
you
do?
doing
Anything coming up, or how can people get in touch with you about that?
Awesome, yeah. So I've got some workshops coming up here in Toronto. I'm hoping to do a national tour in a couple of months, and so all the information is on my website at morgantoombs.com. We've got the official book launch here in Toronto May 1st.
Whoa.
Yeah, so that'll be super fun, and with that. In conjunction with that, I've got a new program. It's a free challenge for women who are tired of their silent war on their body and ready to stop that, silent wrestling. And it's called the 21-Day Beauty Breakthrough Challenge. And so it's for all women who just want some help to redefine, just step into a yummier space of deliciousness for themselves. And it's for absolutely every woman and any woman.
Wow.
That's great. Okay, so, and they can find out about that on the website, morgantoombs.com.
Yeah.
Do you know where that book launch is going to be?
It's still up in the air right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you'll announce that on the site.
I will, for sure, yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Great. Well,
Good luck on the radio show.
Thank
and
you.
everything.
Yeah.
It's amazing what you're doing.
And thanks for coming in today.
Thank you so much for having me.
And thanks for helping all the women out there to be sexier.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to take a little break. And do we have a video that you set up for us?
Yeah, it's a video from a show that I did in LA with Marsh Engel.
Oh, great.
So,
She's been on the show, by the way.
Oh, really? Amazing.
Yeah.
She's coming here in a week. So,
yeah, super. Okay, so here's the video, and we're going to come back and Liquid Lunch will continue talking about the Power Expo coming up.
Yay.
So here we are, and part of what Amazing Woman About is introducing a full body, mind, and spirit experience of not just your career and your business and your work, but all the So here we are, and part of what Amazing Woman About is introducing a full body, mind, and spirit experience of not just your career and your business and your work, but all of your relationships and the way your life unfolds for you, your health, your well-being. And sexy is one of the conversations that sometimes we perhaps put on the side, or we've given a story about, or perhaps that we've decided isn't important enough for us to have a conversation about. But today we're opening up that conversation. Who's in the mood to talk about what it is to be sexy? Yeah. You're in a room filled with it, huh? We can't help it. And sexy takes on a lot of definitions, doesn't it? And some of those definitions are old and worn out, and some of those definitions are new and fresh and exciting and thrilling for us to really embrace. So I've invited this incredible expert in what it is to be sexy. And Morgan Toombs, I met her when I was in Montreal doing a workshop. She's from Toronto, Canada, but I was in Montreal. And the minute I met her, I said, Morgan, I know that we're to do work together, because what you're talking about is something that we as women must be speaking about more, and speaking about it from a very intelligent, very inspired point of view. Morgan is a nurse. Are you a registered nurse? Yep. She's a registered nurse who has taken on the call of redefining what it is to be sexy and how we've misunderstood it through the eons. And as we step into our full feminine, beautiful power and integrated spiritual being in the world, being sexy is part of that. So we're going to have a conversation. Who's up for that? You like it? Okay, good. So Morgan, I know that you've been on a lot of television shows and you've been interviewed, but I think when I think of Morgan Toombs, I think of the depth of which you've investigated the ways in which sexy has been defined, or it's time for it to be redefined. So that's the first thing that comes to mind. And the first question is that I want to ask, and I'm going to be the voice of everyone in the room for the moment, is why is it important that we shift our definition of sexy and step into what you call the sensual groove? Why is that important for us?
Well, it's important, for one, sexy is not that serious. And for two, we have a very muddled definition of what sexy is, and it's time to redefine that. So let's explore, let's bust that open and take a look at what sexy means. So it takes on a very fuzzy definition. You know, it's okay to be sexy in a certain circumstance. It's not okay to be sexy in another circumstance. There's rules, there's guidelines. You're okay to do it here, you're not okay to do it here. And it becomes so complicated and it becomes so confusing.
How many of us have rules about what it means to be sexy? How many of us have thought that to be sexy in our business is inappropriate? Or that maybe we've adopted what our mom thought was sexy, and even though in our heart we know we're not in alignment with that thought, we still are living through that. And I think that's really what we're talking about. Mm-hmm. It's at redefining sexy in a way that brings that sense of connection. And I know when we were talking over the last week, mm-hmm. we've been talking a lot about sexy and authenticity. Yeah. So maybe you want to talk to us a little bit about that, where when we really dive into our authentic self, our authentic sexy shows up.
Mm-hmm. So when we let go of what we think we're supposed to be as a sensual and sexual being, the sexy, we allow ourselves to step into an authentic sensual expression of who we are. And I like to think of sexiness as just all of the stuff that sexy is, you know, cleavage and heels and sweatpants and hair, you know, everything. It doesn't have to be anything. It can be exactly what you want it to be. So,
I often used to say, just confidence in itself. Confidence. There's nothing sexier than a confident woman. It has nothing to do with what you're wearing or what you look like or anything about it. It's really that confidence, and I think that's the authentic self showing up. So I know you have a book that you've written, and I know that you have coaching programs. But I want to know about the Morgan and where that deep desire to do the book, to do the coaching programs, where did it all start?
Well, I know what it feels like to beat myself up about not being pretty enough or fit enough or sexy enough or feeling sexy but not wanting to show it because, oh, it's inappropriate, and just all of the stuff that goes on that made me feel not good enough, just not good enough. And as I started to walk along my path, I started to talk to a whole bunch of different women. And women of all, like, socioeconomic statuses, all jobs, all everything. All of these women were experiencing the exact same thing. They weren't feeling good enough either. So I made it my commitment to open up the space for women to explore their authentic sensual expression and unleash their inner sexy for themselves on their own terms and in their own way.
Oh, I love that. Who wants to unleash their inner sexy? Truly. Seriously. Yeah, there. Justin's saying, I think Justin's probably saying yes on two levels. It's not just a good idea that we all unleash the inner sexy. There's a lot of people talking about unleashing the inner sexy.
Oh, yeah.
And what's that look like for us?
So I'm going to just soften the concept around sexy. So it's not just about sexy. What we're talking about is we're talking about beauty, we're talking about body, we're talking about those kinds of things as well. So it's not just sexy. And so we're seeing it come up in the Dove campaign for real beauty. So we're looking at women of all shapes and sizes, all ethnicities in their underwear saying it's okay to be feminine and half naked and on billboards. It's okay. We've also got celebrities choosing to not be photoshopped, to not wear makeup on the cover of the magazine. And it's so powerful because celebrities are power holders within our society, right? And so these women leaders are saying, hey, it's okay. I can be a woman and my body doesn't define me. My looks don't define me. I can be without makeup and be beautiful and be valuable and be fully expressed as a feminine human. And
and sexy.
And sexy. And sexy. And so additionally, there's a whole bunch of movements like stiletto boot camp, pole dancing classes. So it's okay for women to start expressing that side of themselves. There's a lot of, oh my gosh, and Marina and I were talking about that huge phenomenon right now, 50 Shades of Grey. Right? So women are reading this like it's like mommy porn is the lingo right now about that. And they're just eating it up because they're ready to unleash that side of themselves. It might not show up in fetish style stuff, but you know, it doesn't have to be that extreme, but it can be anything that you want it to be. Again, redefining sexy to be what it is for you specifically as an individual.
And just saying it's okay. Just bringing it into light that sexy is okay. So how do you see your work contributing to that overall movement?
So my work is the bridge. So intellectually, we understand that there's a, you're talking about the women's movement in the 60s, and like that sexual expression. So from then on, we've had this, you know, the path has already been blazed for that. And so intellectually, we understand that sex is not serious. Women aren't defined by their bodies. You know, it's not, we're not, our worth isn't as a woman, our worth is not inside of our sexual expression or our sensuality. So we intellectually understand that, but then there's all these other things that kind of make it so we don't really know how to do that. And so my work creates the bridge to allow a woman to experience her authentic sensual expression on her own terms, in her own way, as defined by her, and so she feels good, vibrant, delicious, juicy, whatever she wants. We don't know the title. It's called Sexy, It's Not That Serious. A lady's guide for unleashing her authentic sensual groove.
I love that. I love it.
And welcome back to the show. We're back here in the show.
We're back.
And
we have some awesome guests today. This has been an amazing show.
And has nowhere near over yet.
No, I know. More amazing to come.
Yeah, we got Susan Brady joining us here, who is going to be a keynote speaker at the Power Expo that's coming up. Right, Susan?
That's right.
Wow.
Now, did you drive all the way here today?
Yes,
from your hometown, just for this?
Yes, I did. Yeah,
Where's your
beautiful day for a drive?
Wow.
Where's your hometown?
Port Stanley. Beautiful village of Port Stanley on Lake Erie.
Oh, wow.
It is beautiful. Yeah. If you've never been down there, it's worth going.
That's right.
So I'm not familiar with where it is. How long of a drive is that?
That's about 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Okay.
South of London, as far south of London as you can get, and then you hit the water.
Right on Lake Erie.
Oh my God, it sounds beautiful.
It is beautiful.
Yes, wow.
In the summer, especially. Okay. Now, Susan. Okay, so now let's talk about. You're going to be giving us a speak. You're going to be speaking at the Power Expo. Now, do you want to just give us a little bit of background about the Power Expo first, for people who may not be familiar with it?
Yeah, the Power Expo is an expo where entrepreneurs come together, people that have their own businesses, some people that are in a job, in some type of corporate role, that have been maybe thinking about starting their own business, possibly have a business now that they want to increase. So it's an opportunity to bring people together for great education, great inspiration, great networking, where they can, commiserate all day long with like-minded people, check out some different products and services, great education. There's lots of workshops going to be going on, and it's just an opportunity for entrepreneurs to come together.
Wow.
And especially for people that, even if they're already employed, right? I think the whole economy is going to a situation where we're all going to be self-employed. And certainly that's really the only way to have any kind of job security these days, right? Is to be self-employed.
That's right.
So, of course, that's a great reason for everybody to consider checking out the Power Expo, which is when?
April 20th.
April 20th. Okay. So, and we'll give all the details about where and where that's going to be a little bit later in the interview. So, now, how did you come to be a keynote speaker at the Power Expo?
I actually spoke at the very first Power Expo, and immediately afterwards they said, we need you to come back for the next one. I'm like, all right. It was a couple of the organizers I had met, through different networking events, through different seminars that I had attended in the past, and through some mutual friends. Okay. Now, was the topic at the last time the same as the topic you're giving this time? More or less. Okay. So, and it's called, and has the intriguing title of the 6-minute, the six-figure sofa. Yes, the six-figure sofa.
What the heck is that?
Because we got the sofa part down already.
Yeah, that part we know. 6-figure. I mean, I know that outside of the context of a sofa, I know what 6 figures are, but what's a 6-figure sofa?
It's my acronym. It's my signature system. It's my trademark system.
Ah.
And that's how I teach. I'm known as the Make 6 Figures Working From Home coach. So I work with entrepreneurs. I work with people that have a home-based business. I transitioned from a corporate career into direct sales, and from that ended up doing a couple different things, but now have my own coaching business. So I work with entrepreneurs all around the world, and I've had the experience of finding out what works, what doesn't work, how to take somebody from 0 to 6 figures. So now that's what I teach people. So the Power Expo, there's people coming together that want to learn how to create an income from home. I mean, Hugh, you talked about security, job security. And a lot of people get hung up on security. But when you have your own business, when you can create the type of income that you had in a corporate job, when you can create that type of income from a home-based business, you truly are creating your own financial future. So that's what I like to give people tips. And I have a system now that I've designed that I've worked with over the past couple of years. So that's kind of what I teach people now.
Interesting.
What do you mean a system?
What's a system?
Well, what's yours?
Without giving out.
Yeah, without giving out all the details. But what, I mean, you've got a system to take people to working from home to six-figure
More or less. It's an umbrella, Hugh. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
There's 4 steps. In my mind, there's 4 steps to creating a 6-figure income.
Okay.
Well, that sounds easy.
Or having your... It is easy, but, and I mean, it's easy to a point, but it takes hard work.
Okay.
You know, I just got off the phone on my way here. I was chatting with somebody who is wanting to step out of their comfort zone and start their own business from home.
Okay.
And I said, be willing to work harder than you've ever worked before. You know, sure, it's gratifying, it's great having your own business, but it's hard work. So one of the things that I do now is I teach my system, which is you have to start. The S stands for starting where you are right now.
Okay.
And taking a look at where you are and where you want to go.
Okay.
And it's having a strategy in place to take you from where you are right now to where you want to go.
Okay. Okay.
The second, the O stands for obstacles. Overcoming the obstacles that have been holding you back.
Okay.
Okay, we all have obstacles, and once you overcome one, the next one's there. It's like the terror barrier. It's like fear. We're always facing fear. As you're growing your business, one thing after another is going to pop up in front of you. Okay, when you overcome one obstacle, you think, oh, that's it. But then the next one is there. So it's overcoming, it's learning how to face those challenges. It's learning how to face those obstacles, tackle them, and move forward.
Okay.
The F stands for focus.
Okay.
A lot of people have a lot of difficulty focusing on the activities that are bringing them closer to their goal. I mean, you hear so many people, I'm so busy. Well, what are you busy doing? So when you narrow in their focus and you help them focus on income producing activities, or you help them focus on the activities that are going to bring them the fastest path to cash, which is huge. When you're starting a business, you need to make money. So when you can really laser focus and identify the obstacles, help them focus in on the fastest path to cash, it moves us to A, and that's action. Taking action and keeping the person accountable. Over the last few years, we heard a lot of discussion around the secret and the law of attraction. Oh, if I think about it, and if I hope on it, if I dream about it, if I pray on it. But you know, it's one thing. The law of attraction, you know, is all about the law of vibration. And I believe everything is energy. We're always moving. But that law of vibration, the law of attraction means nothing if you're not taking action. So when you're starting where you are and identifying where you are and where you want to be, when you're identifying and overcoming the obstacles that have held you back in the past, you're focusing in on the activities that are bringing you the most cash, you're moving into action, and you have somebody accountable to keep you moving forward. So that's kind of an umbrella synopsis of my 6-figure sofa.
Boy.
Well, that sounds simple enough, but it does sound like hard work.
It is hard work.
See, I was looking forward to the part where you get to lie on the sofa all day and collect 6 figures. When does that happen?
Once you get the momentum going. And
So
you create some passive income. When you create some passive income, it's time to sit down on the couch, and you can literally be making money while you're sitting on the couch.
So passive income is?
Passive income is when you can sit on the couch or you can sleep and make money while you sleep.
Okay, so how much, I mean, what kinds of businesses do you work with? Is a lot of what you do multi-marketing companies? Okay, I see. Okay.
A little bit of everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you give us some examples of some of that?
Yeah, a lot of network marketing, multi-level marketing, people that have coaching businesses, people in the wellness industry that are starting a health and wellness business.
Wow, okay.
I actually have one of my new clients has an automotive shop in Markham.
Okay, so you can actually have physical stores as well.
Any kind of business,
Okay.
I guess.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So, Susan, it seems to me, okay, that there's a lot of people getting into the coaching business these days, right?
Yes.
But, I mean, it seems a lot of people are...
Are we being saturated? Is that what you think?
Well, I could see the need for people to have mentors, right? And I think that until recently, there hasn't been a formal way for people to find mentors or for mentors to find people to mentor. But yeah, I wonder sometimes if a lot of people, it seems, I know there's a lot of layoffs, right? People are getting laid off of companies, and we seem to be headed towards a culture and an economy of entrepreneurs, right? But I just wonder if there's maybe you know, too many people not really making anything, and too many people trying to help other people to make stuff, but there's...
So there's an imbalance.
Yeah, I'm just wondering about that and what your experience is of that.
Well, I have two schools of thought on that, Hugh. I have always had a coach. I have invested a lot of money in my coaches.
So you have a coach yourself?
Absolutely. I have two coaches right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
I would never be without a coach. I wouldn't be in the position I am today if I didn't have a coach.
Well, I think that's a good point too, because I think really a lot of people, either through their own choice or through circumstances, and are now forced to become entrepreneurs. I think because I think there is a lot of that out there where people really, you know, struggling to make a living and there's no jobs, so they have to go and start their own business. But I think it really helps to have someone, because if you're a self-employed entrepreneur, in a way, you're not really reporting to anybody. No. And what that can do, the downside that can be, depending on the person's personality, is that they don't have any accountability.
That's right.
And so I think that the role of a coach or a mentor to hold entrepreneurs accountable to even do what they say they're going to do can make all the difference between success and failure.
Is that what your coach does for you?
Absolutely.
Oh, that's a really
pushes
good point.
me. You know, when I don't feel like doing something, or pushes me beyond my comfort zone. It's all about moving beyond your comfort zone. It's all about taking risks. Being an entrepreneur is taking a risk. It's taking a huge risk. I mean, if you look at the stats, probably 98% of people that have tried network marketing have never become successful. And yet you look at the top 2% and they're very successful. So what's the difference? It's you have to want it bad enough. And if you have a plan in front of you, and what I find today, more than over the last 10 years, more so in the last couple, people want a step-by-step plan. So when you're working with somebody, you want to find a mentor, you want to find a coach who's been there, done that, who has a track record, who has, you know, experience as an entrepreneur, because not only can they help keep you accountable, but you can learn from your mistakes, or you can learn from their mistakes. You know, I became successful because I failed several times. And it's not just about the successes, but it's about the failures. So I can shorten somebody's learning curve. Right. I don't want them making the same mistakes. I don't want them spending tens of thousands of dollars in an area that's not going to help them. So it can really shorten up the time frame and shorten the learning curve for someone. And especially if you've been in the business for a while, you have great connections and you can help connect them. The great thing about business is being, you know, having a Rolodex of connections, you know, that you can help other people. I mean, I can't teach everybody everything, but I have great connections.
So you can get them to somebody who can.
So I can connect them to the people that can help them.
Wow.
Okay, so
that sounds very empowering.
Yeah.
Now, do you have a list of some of the other speakers at the? Do you know? I know, I'm putting you on the spot here. I know, but you're speaking at the Power Expo. Where is it this time?
It's in Toronto.
Yeah.
I can't remember the exact address. I know they've moved it from the last one. I have the visualize of the last event, but I'm not sure.
Oh, we'll have it on the credits.
But
Yeah, and it's powerexpo.net. They can register online, check out the speakers. There's the awards, you know, for the Power Expo Awards, so make sure you check those out.
What's that about again? The Power Expo Awards?
You can nominate someone for an award, whether it's a social media award. It's just, you know, recognizing your peers, recognizing those people in business that are making a difference.
So this is open to the public.
Yes.
The public helps to decide who wins those awards.
Absolutely.
Wow, that's great.
Absolutely. So it gets
it's
the
very
community
interactive.
involved.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
And what time? Do we know what time the Power Expo is on that day, April 20th?
It starts at 9 a.m.
Yeah, and it goes till
5:30.
5:30. So it's a full day
day.
Of getting your entrepreneurial house in order and getting hyped up for the fabulous rest of the year once the good weather kicks in.
You know, and it's also it's confidence building as well, because we are in a really tough time economically, and it's nice to go to these kinds of events and see some people who've been successful. Too, you get to witness some people who've been successful, so you can come away with some positive energy and maybe some ideas as to what you want to do.
Exactly.
Yeah, because aren't there for people that may not even have any idea what kind of business they want to be in?
There's lots of vendors there. You can go check out different opportunities and speak with them firsthand.
See, so you can go find out what you might want to be doing.
And it doesn't have to be that expensive to start off, right? That's the thing. I don't think it has to be that expensive.
No, especially when you're talking about network marketing or direct sales.
Yeah.
The startup is very low.
Yeah, I heard like even for $99 or less, you can get started.
Because that's a big factor as to why people don't even look at that, because they think, oh my God, I don't have any money. How can I? I have to wait until I get money, and then, so it's always a wait and see.
It's all changing, Sandra. Since 2012, we're on the, everything's getting better and better.
Yes, I think so. You know what? I think this is a really good opportunity for people to do their own thing.
Yeah.
Try something different.
Break out of that matrix of being like a sheep and working for the big companies and kind of do your own thing.
Now, speaking of your own thing, Susan, now you're based in Port Stanley, but can people hire you to coach them?
Absolutely. I coach people all over the world right now.
All right. So how does that work? And
they can just go to my website at susan-brady.com.
Okay.
And there's a link there. They can click to set up a complimentary strategy session with me.
Oh, cool.
So now, because you work with people all over the world, is it done via Skype or email? Okay.
Skype, phone, sometimes in person.
Okay.
A little bit of everything.
So the fact that they're another part of the world does not affect the quality of. Okay.
No,
nice.
Not at all. Modern technology.
Gotta love it.
Son of a gun.
That's what we're all about.
Okay, Susan, thanks for coming in today.
Thank you. It's been great.
Doing this, and look forward to the Power Expo. And of course, everyone out there can look forward to hearing Susan in more detail.
This is a whole new Brady bunch here.
Yes.
About the six-figure sofa. So thanks for doing this today.
Thank you.
Okay.
Wow.
So we're going to take a little break. Chantal McCallum's supposed to be here. She doesn't appear to be here yet, but we're going to take a little break and come back with more Liquid Lunch.
I'm going to test you on what SOFA stands for.
All right.
Off air.
Okay, good. So we're going to take a break. I don't know. Maybe we could play one of those Royal Yute songs. And Liquid Lunch will continue. We'll be right back.
Freddie, famous.
I just love we need, all we need are more love. Coming like a showers of blessings from above, and we no wanna greed. So put away your gun, no need for the grudge, God bless it, love it is a must. I just love we need, all we need are more love. Coming like a showers of blessings from above, and we no wanna greed. So put away your guns, no need for the grudge, God bless it, love it is a. I just love and happiness, away the bobo manifest. Teach you them cleanliness, and if we pray and do them best. Treading in a the valley of the shadow of death, with wicked man I dig them pit and evil man I send check. But never will I fear and never will I fret when the bobo youth him treading through this generation next. Yo, where them are gonna do in this generation next. When me burn them robots and cyborgs and surrogates, you better change your dirty ways, you better watch your dirty flex. Can't me them are impressed with them corrupted Congress. I just love and righteousness away the biggie you profess. Get to you, just watch your ways and step away from filthiness. I just love we need, all we need are more love. Coming like a showers of blessings from above, and we no wanna agree. greed. So put away your guns, no need for the grudge. God bless it, love it is a must. I just love we need, all we need are more love. Coming like a showers of blessings from above, and we now wanna greed. So put away your guns, no need for the grudge. God bless it, love it is a must, yo. Get a youth, just hold the faith and go and try this shit. Enough of them in a them pretty suit, them a fake. Mama in a the kitchen, toto a bake. Jabez the little and the much, Rasta ever get. I just want this if you want, figure choose Iron Gate. Rasta ever tell them that love conquer hate. No care what them a try, and them a infiltrate. Get a youth, no matter make them string you up. I just love we need, and we need a more love. Coming like a showers of blessings from above, and we now wanna greed. So put away your guns, no need for the grudge. God bless it, love it is a must. I just love we need, and we need a more love. Coming like a showers of blessings from above, and we don't wanna greed. So put away your guns, no need for the grudge. I just blessings from above. I just love we need a more love. Coming like a showers of blessings from above, and we don't wanna greed. So put away your guns, no need for the grudge. God bless it, love it is a. I just love and happiness, away the bobo manifest. Teaching you them cleanliness, and if we pray and do them best. Treading in a the valley of the shadow of death, when wicked man a dig them pits and evil man a send check. But never will I fear, and never will I fret, when the bobo man him treading through this generation next. Yo, where them a go doing a this a generation next. When me burn them robots and cyborgs and surrogates, you better change your dirty ways, you better watch your dirty flex. Can't me them a impressed with them corrupted Congress. I just love and righteousness, I where the bobo manifest. Get to you, just watch your ways and step away from.
All right, welcome back to the show, and I guess
home stretch?
I think this is the home stretch, unless Chantel shows up, walks through that door. But we're here with Lamar Chance, and Lamar,
Hello,
great to have you
Lamar.
actually on the show instead of
behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes on the show,
Lamar runs the board, right?
He does the audio.
Audio board.
Audio.
And I've sort of done some of the editing in post.
Yes, that's right. We may even get you to do today's show in post. So now, Lamar, let's just talk about, just get to know you a little bit. You're from Toronto. You live in Scarborough, right?
Yes, I wasn't born here, but I live here. I live in Scarborough, and I commute here every day from 9 till 4. Like in the studio. But I'm actually Guyanese originally from Guyana. It's in South America, part of the Caribbean countries, like CARICOM, I guess. But I immigrated to Canada in 2002, I believe.
Really?
It's been almost 11 plus 10 years.
Now, like, are you a Canadian citizen?
Yeah, I'm a Canadian citizen.
Did you have to go through the whole citizenship process, or how did that work?
Well, you come as a landed immigrant, you get a visa for a certain amount of time, and then you go through your citizenship process, and that's what I had to do. But
see, I applied for a visa, but they turned me down because of my credit rating.
And that's something he said on air.
Wow. It's a joke. Of course, my credit is fantastic.
Okay.
I can borrow as much money as I want.
There you go. But we don't want to.
That's right.
That's
neither a borrower nor a lender be.
Awesome. Awesome. That's the after 2012 thing, right?
Yeah, Lamar, what did you think of that whole 2012 thing with the Mayan calendar?
Well,
do you even know about it?
I know about it.
Of course he does.
But the thing is, didn't the Mayan calendar end before again? And this has happened, I swear I've heard it's happened before, where the Mayan calendar ended, and everyone thought it was the world's going to end, but then it would restart it again. Like, supposedly the intervals on the calendar have been done before.
Right, but I think this is the first time the calendar has come to the 0 year in, since before the Mayan civilization began. So, I mean,
I think there's smaller cycles and bigger cycles, and I think this is the first time that the big cycle has lined up with the smaller cycles, and I think that's what you're talking about where it comes to the 0, because the big one is every 5,100 years or something, and then there's smaller cycles within that, and we're at the end of the 5,000 one, so that's apparently the big one.
Yeah. So how come we have 7 days in a week, Lamar, instead of, say, 10, like metric, which would be easier?
There's a structure to the time, there's 24 hours in a day, 7 days in a week.
Why aren't there 10 hours? Make it easy.
Because of the nighttime thing, right?
Well,
because you have to have 24 hours so that 6 o'clock is relatively, 6 o'clock a.m. is relatively, it's mostly dark, or
it's daylight and such like that.
Has to be.
But you could have 10 hours in the day and then another 10 hours in the night.
Well, not if the cycle, if the dark and light cycle is not lined up. We're lining, aren't we lining up our cycle, our hours to the day and night?
That's what we do.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But let's make it metric. That's all.
Then you have to change the day and light and
there's that
light and dark
interval between the light and dark, and that's where the 4 hours come from.
What 4 hours?
It's 24 hours in a day.
Oh, so they were metric before, and then they had to add the other 4 hours for the dusk and the dawn.
Possibly. That's a great theory. Do we know this, Lamar, or you just?
I'm thinking that that's how it probably worked.
Now we're calling this. We're moving from the Mayan calendar to the Lamar calendar. Did you know that?
When does your calendar end, Lamar, and how can we get ready for that?
I don't have a specific date off the top of my head. Well, the thing about the 2012, and everyone's saying, oh, it was going to be the apocalypse, the world was going to end. If it was going to be the apocalypse and the world was going to end, and a lot more people would be out there, like, doing specific things. Like, if the world was going to end at a set date, I wouldn't have been going to school up until then.
What would you have done? That's a good question.
See, the thing is, the Illuminati, they were doing stuff. They were building those deep underground military bases, building the maglev trains all under the earth.
Everyone takes precautions in their own way, but
I think that's a bit extreme precaution.
But I said, of course, yes, on the extreme end of the scale. But everyone takes precautions in their own way. And if the world was going to end, I would have gone to school. I would have tried to do something that would have made me feel as if my life up until then was meaningful. That I did something that left a mark. Well, not necessarily left a mark, because all humanity would just suddenly cease to exist. That's what an apocalypse
That's true. No mark to leave, huh?
No mark to leave. But I would want to feel as if I've accomplished something that I'd be like, yeah, I can go now.
And what would you have done? What would do that for you?
I really don't know.
So here you are. Come on, I know you're embarking at the beginning of your adult life, and I know you've got some career aspirations and stuff like that. What could you imagine doing that's going to really make your life meaningful and worthwhile?
Write a book.
Oh, wow. You'd want to write a book.
Well, I'm fluent at speaking my mind, but writing my mind isn't one of my greatest strengths. Like, I'm able to say what I want to say and allow my words to let people know how I feel. But I want to allow that to become words on a piece of paper, so they can read and take a look and see what I'm trying to portray. Mm-hmm. So, like, I don't know, some people write books about their life. They write books about their theories, their ideas, all those things. But I wouldn't know what I would want to write about. I'd simply just write for the sake of writing. I'd write about my questions in life.
This is like a Jerry Seinfeld book. Because wasn't his show about nothing?
Yes.
Isn't that what they said?
Yes, that's right. It was a show about nothing, Sandra.
So we could do a book about nothing.
Okay. Now, Lamar, what did you think of our first guest today, Dr. John Stewart, and some of the stuff he was talking about?
The silver and gold. I know that fluoride is toxic for certain parts of the brain. I know it's toxic for certain parts of the human body as well. That's
but it's good for your teeth.
But it's good for your teeth.
Which is more important.
Which is why whenever you go to the dentist, they tell you not to swallow the fluoride.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's in water is which is why I don't know what water to drink. That's why I try to stay away from some certain bottled waters. Like when people offer me a bottle of water, I'm not sure if I want to drink this. This stuff comes from like a factory, and they're like,
it's tap water. Dasani and Aquafina are just tap water.
But they also put like specific like minerals and certain things in it. Like you could taste the way tap water tastes in comparison to those bottled waters. Like Dasani has like this weird aftertaste to it. I don't think water should have an aftertaste. I think water should be able to quench your thirst and keep you alive, not be a flavor.
Yeah, that's right. That flavored water just kind of.
Yeah, it doesn't do it for me either.
No.
But what John was saying this morning about the Higgs-boson, that was interesting, because I heard about the Higgs-boson a while back. Like he said, it was, but I didn't hear anything about it up until now, because I follow certain like media blogs and like tech blogs, and I sort of read that stuff and I keep up on that, try and keep my information ahead of the game so that I know. So if I have a conversation with someone, I can I can come across as knowing what I'm talking about. But I didn't know about that. So every time someone comes on the show and they talk about something that's current that I don't know about, I get to know more information.
Well, I was just fascinated with Dr. John, and I want to read all those books he mentioned.
Well, the other thing I really liked about what he had to say was that this should be taught in schools.
Yeah.
This should be a form of education. And young people, you shouldn't be waiting until you're 40 and 50 and 60 to get this information. That young kids should have it. And it was interesting because after he went off the air, a couple of young kids who were in the studio went up to him and said, I already know what you're saying and what you're talking about. I've already started to do my research. I'm already on it. It was amazing to see.
Yeah.
So there does seem to be this this movement towards it. So it would be really nice to see it in the schools, because we might see more kids going to school, actually, and not skipping class, because I think a lot of kids are interested in this.
What do you think, Lamar? What do you think in your experience? Because you're still in high school, right?
I've graduated, but I took a fifth year. But I feel as if there's a niche of my peers that want to know. There's the things they want their questions answered, so they venture out to find those answers. And then there's the rest who simply want to live their life without having to question anything. Just want to be in the norm.
But if this were in the school curriculum, would there be interest in that instead of in place of something, something else that is in the school curriculum? Would those kids who don't kind of venture out and look for their own thing, would they be interested in this?
Well, if I were to think I want to try and put myself in their shoes. Like if I wanted to just coast through high school above the average, and like, oh, this course is here, I can take this. Some people take things in high school not expecting to be enlightened, not expecting to learn something. They just expect to get a credit and just continue with their lives, and it's just a number on a sheet of paper. That's what they expect. That's what it is to them. And then there's some people who choose to take that course because they specifically want to learn something, which is why there's people who I've known who had higher grade averages and decided they were going to go back to school to learn more so that they can take advantage of the fact that they can have a fifth year and get all the information that they want to learn, and then go to college or university or post-secondary education or go out into the field and learn what they want to learn, and they'll be enlightened before they do that. So because there's certain things, I feel as if there's certain things in high school that they don't teach you, and there's things in university that are not. That's why I didn't want to go to university immediately, because I keep on hearing people saying university's theory and it's information and it's all this. It's like I want to be able to apply it to something. I want to see what my learning can produce.
Good for you for having that clarity.
I do the theory because I want to do college first and then university.
Right. Now, to your point though, where you said a lot of kids are just coming into class just to get their marks, kind of thing. It's just a number on a paper. Well, wouldn't it make sense then if you change some of the subject matter? Because I think that a lot of kids who are doing that is because they're bored with the topics. So maybe if you had different types of topics, like what Dr. John is bringing in, you might have more interest. So it wouldn't just be a number on a paper. There's
also, because I feel as if for a classroom to function, there has to be a teacher that is willing to learn as well as their students. Like a lot of teachers in my school, it's like some of them are very, I know there's always a teacher who's there just for their paycheck, and they don't care about the kids. They're just numbers to them. And then there's teachers who come to school, and instead of them learning, instead of them teaching their kids teach them.
Yes.
That's the classroom I like to be inside of. I like to be inside of a classroom where instead of being treated as a number to a teacher or their paycheck, I can feel as if I'm a person giving information to them, and them giving me feedback, and feel like an actual person inside of a room of my peers.
That's a really good point. So you're not talking down to the students, you're talking with the students.
Like I enjoy that a lot more than simply, because every time a teacher decides they're just going to write all the information on a board and I have to write down notes, I feel dull. I feel as if my skills and the things that I could be doing are
not appreciated.
I feel as if I'm just sitting in the class, which is why I think certain parts of the curriculum in high schools and in certain other aspects of teaching are outdated. Like, there's people who say we need to update the school system, And there's people who say the school system is completely fine the way it is. People who say the school system is completely fine the way it is have been through that system, but do not understand that times have changed. Like, there's students who I see at my school every day, come to school, and the only thing they look forward each day to is their friends. Like,
wow, it's a social thing.
The social environment. If they can find a way to incorporate that, the student wanting to go to school, because I love coming here. This is a learning experience for me myself. I enjoy coming to work every day. But if they can incorporate something like that into school, where it's a social environment with the learning, they can possibly, a lot more people will be willing to learn.
Well, and you'd also learn a lot more.
Yeah.
You'd be a lot more productive. Wow.
Okay. All right. Lamar, do you have a blog or anything?
No.
Maybe you should have one.
Maybe I should have one, indeed.
You can practice your writing.
I keep my information to myself, and I just feel as if...
A blog about nothing.
A blog about nothing. I'll consider that, and I'll spout my words into the internet.
Well, anyway...
It's called BAN, Blog About Nothing.
Blog About Nothing.
Well, Lamar, thanks for doing everything you do behind the board. Thanks for coming in front of the cameras today.
Thank you for sharing your wisdom.
Discussion.
Wow, it was really great.
I guess that's it for the show, Sandra. It was a good show. It was a really good show today.
It was an awesome show. Johnny Smash did an excellent job, and thank you to Dan for doing a great show, being the co-host. He did an awesome job.
Yes.
Although he didn't like being called a temporary co-host. Thank you.
Yeah, you saw that, eh?
I did.
Okay. So, we had Royal Yute on earlier in the show. Let's go with that other video that he did, and that'll be it for the show for today.
I love Royal Yute. Just keeping it humble.
Yeah. So we'll see you all next time here on Liquid Lunch, ThatChannel.com.
Yo, give me a light. Oh, where you get the weed, dada? The weed are sick. The weed are well sicker than Sars. Take 2 jaws, send my brains up on Mars. Meditation, it higher than the stars. Just kick back and off it right couple bars. Cause of the high grade, me smoking well a high grade. You white me promoting this a high grade, me smoking. I eat a deal of the nation, tell you that I'm not joking. Cause a high grade, me smoking this a high grade, me promoting this a high grade, me smoking. Herbs a deal of the nation, tell you that I'm not joking. High grade sense in media, we want tina. Boil up the weeds and mix it up with the Medina. Load up the chalice and we burn it in the steamer. I know some police that are smoking, even on some preacher. Cure up your asthma, cataract and all your fever. No ecstasy, cracker, earn coke, I don't want that neither. High grade, only royal, you team are the leader. Excuse me while I roll up. Like we Khalifa, as a ganja, we promote up in the media. Cause the weed are well sicker than Sars. Take 2 jaws and my brains up on Mars. Meditation, well higher than the stars. Just kick back and off it right couple bars. Yo, this a weed are well better than yours. Take 2 jaws and my brains up on Mars. Meditation, it higher than the stars. Just kick back and off it read couple psalms. Cause of the high grade, me smoking this a high grade. Well, I me promoting this a high grade, me smoking. I heard the deal of the nation, tell you that I'm not joking. Cause a high grade, me smoking this a high grade, we promoting this a high grade, we smoking. I heard the deal of the nation, tell you that I'm not joking. If the country gun will start, snuff it up. Make the fire burn, when that will start, pump it up. High grade, bubble cushion, now we have it up. Pass with the red rules, grab a have it up. Emperor Selassie name the bubble shanty calling up. Fire it a blaze, when the baby man go spark it up. High grade farmer, just go and plant it up. Smoke it by the post because we can't have enough. This a weed a well sicker than Sars. Take 2 jaws and my brains up on Mars. Meditation, it higher than the stars. Just kick back and off the right couple bars. Cause this a weed a well better than yours. Take 2 jaws and my brains up on Mars. Meditation, well higher than the stars. Just kick back and off the read couple psalms. Cause of the high grade, we smoking this a high grade. Well, I be promoting this a high grade, we smoking. I heard the deal of the nation, tell you that I'm not joking. Cause a high grade, we smoking this a high grade, we promoting. Cause a high say the United Nations and their doctor no joke. Think that we are well sicker than Sars. Take 2 jaws and my brains up on Mars. Meditation, it higher than the stars. Just kick back and up the right couple bars. Yo, this we are well better than yours. Take 2 jaws and my brains up on Mars. Meditation, well higher than the stars. Just kick back and up the read couple psalms. When the money will I sell a CI, that's the far right. I just the earth in our nation. Emperor Selassie creation, you know? I am representing.